We made it, people. We made it. It's the final. Novak Djokovic versus Matteo Berrettini. We just saw Barty beating Karolina Pliskova in 3 sets. A pretty entertaining final, has to be said. Really entertaining, and I'm hoping we get more of the same tomorrow. Now, Novak Djokovic versus Berrettini is going to be the preview for it. I'm going to go through very briefly their routes to the final, and then also my thoughts on how they match up, where I think the match will be won and lost potentially as well, and what each player will probably have to do tactically going into it. So, well, first of all, we'll touch upon Novak Djokovic's route to the final. So, as you can see here, from Wimbledon here, Jack Draper, the only set he's lost is against Jack Draper. That first set, he was just, let's be honest, I was watching it live, and he was having a bit of a hangover from the French Open. It was a very short period between the French and Wimbledon, and he just took time to adapt. It took time to adapt, and that's just the way it was. But after that, got into his groove, and then ended up winning pretty comfortably against a very talented young British prospect in Jack Draper, but still a long way to go. Then former finalist Kevin Anderson playing Novak Djokovic. He hasn't been in the type of form that got him to that Wimbledon final a couple of years back. And look, I mean, yes, there were some bits where it was competitive, but Djokovic is serving and the return in general very, very impressive. And one thing that I wanted to point out, I think it was against Jack Draper. Do you ever remember seeing Djokovic serving 25 aces? It is 25 aces in a match. Incredibly impressive. Against Kevin Anderson, he ended up serving 9 aces. Okay, not as impressive. Fine. But then against Denis Kudla, who, look, people will say it was a slightly more close match. I don't think so. It was against the American. A bit more, I think he struggled a little bit with his rhythm. 6 double faults on that one. And in terms of unforced serves, 28 to 34 winners, which for him is quite high. So, you know, his form has ebbed and flowed, but he's done enough. I mean, he hasn't dropped a single set since. And then Garin, who's more of a clay court specialist, beat him in straights as well, very comfortably. 9 aces there. And the reason why I'm pointing out the aces, because I think it's really important how, and I will touch upon it, how Novak's serve has developed and become more of a weapon. And I mention it, and I have mentioned it before in previous videos, and it is a huge difference. And against Garin, for example, 9 aces, right? But 92% of first serve points won. 92% and 64% of second serve points won. Ridiculous, right? I mean, that's just unbelievable. Fucsovics as well. If we look at the serving stats, 4 aces, okay, fine. But then first serve percentage, 66%. That's very solid. 82% of first serve points won. Good. 44%, not as good. Okay, fine. But still managed to get through in 1 straight sets. And then, of course, Shapovalov. Now, this is the one where, look, I mean, I can look at the stats and I can tell you the stats, but really, it was very, very close. And he served 8 aces in that. First serve percentage was 61%, and first serve points won 81%. Second serve points won 57%. Now, this is the one match which I think, even though he won in straight sets, Matteo Berrettini should be looking at it. And it'll be a weird one because you'll have to look at it and he'll be thinking he's a lefty. He's got pretty different, you know, attributes to me in terms of being very energetic. You know, he's going to be left hand forehand to the backhand of Djokovic. So, you know, he's engaging in those backhand cross-court rallies, whereas Berrettini, obviously, he's a righty, so the backhand to backhand is not really where Berrettini probably wants to be. And I guess he's just a better mover in general, Shapovalov, and he doesn't mind coming to the net. Berrettini, he can be a little bit tentative to come to the net, which is probably not great, but we'll touch upon that. But I want to then touch upon Berrettini's road to the final, and I think it's very worth noting that he's been impressive. Obviously, winning in Queens against Cam Norrie, as you can see here, in 3 sets. And on the way to that, he beat Andy Murray, Travaglia, Andy Murray, Dan Evans, Dimona, and Cam Norrie. Now, that's not a bad run. It's really not. He beat Pela in the first round in 4 sets. And look, again, it's a case of warming into it. And he lost the second set there after being a set up. He served 20 aces and 3 doubles. First serve percentage of 61%, 83% first serve points won. 20 aces. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but Novak served 25 in his first. Yes, but then this is where it gets crazy. He served 20 again in his second round. 83% of first serve points won again against Berrettini. Let's have a look. 20 aces again. 64% first serve percentage. So pretty much all the matches, they're all above at least 60%. And first serve points won above 80%. So 82% here. And on second serve, 81% of points won. Ridiculous. And then we look here against Ivashka, only 7 aces. Okay. But 84% of first serve points won. This wasn't as good a serving display. Only 55% first serve percentage. But then we look at Orgalisiam and her catch, and I'm pretty sure the stats after watching him live against Orgalisiam, he served some rockets and 12 aces, 66% first serve percentage, 76% of first serve points won. I think that also we have to cater into the fact that Felix is a very good returner and did return very well on the day and has been returning well this tournament, and 50% of second serve points won. And then against her catch, now this was a clinic from what I remember. 22 aces, yep. 63% first serve percentage, only 1 double, 86% of first serve points won, and 61% of second serve points won. Now, as you can see here, his run not quite as smooth as Novak's, beating Pale in 4, then Van der Schlupp in straights, Badin in straights, Ivashka in straights, Orgalisiam was there. Look, it was a dominant serving display for the most part. I think he gave Felix hardly any chances on serve, really. It was a clinic, really. And look, Felix gave him some problems. He definitely did give him problems, 100%. But, Berrettini in the end got through it. And then Hakachu, who obviously had beaten Medvedev and Federer, going into this match, didn't quite look the same. Again, he gave Berrettini some issues, beating him, winning a tiebreak in that third set, which Berrettini will be very annoyed about. But that happens. Okay, should we touch upon... I want to touch upon where this can be won and lost. So first of all, actually, it's worth noting that they faced each other twice before. Djokovic has won both times, as you can see here, beating Berrettini at the French Open this year in 4 sets. So Berrettini, actually, to be fair to him, was playing pretty well. He was. And then also in 2019, beating him as well, so in straight. So, look, I think it's worth noting that in that French Open, Berrettini was giving a very good account of himself. And actually, there was a break and a pause because of the rain, if I'm not mistaken, or light. And then they had to restart. And Djokovic then took momentum back. That's not to say that Berrettini would have beaten Djokovic, but I just think it's worth noting that he has some success in that matchup. So I don't think it's going to be so straightforward. The only thing I will say is that this is a different surface. Berrettini's serve will be more effective, but also so will Djokovic's serve. So will Djokovic's ground strokes, which have a lot of depth. So then let's look at the weapons that Berrettini have first, right? Because I think Djokovic we can talk about probably all day. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Berrettini, the serve. We were talking about the serve stats. Incredible, right? Huge serve. I've got videos and pictures of him serving when I was there on court 1 for the quarters, clocking 139 miles an hour. He didn't quite breach the 140, but I'm sure he can. It's only 1 mile per hour more. And it's not just that. It's not just about speed. And it's right that the commentators point that out. It's not just about pace on the serve. He spot serves as well at that speed. He's serving 139 miles per hour down the tee. It's not in the middle of the box. It's down the tee at 139 miles per hour. Out wide, some of the serves were 129, 130 miles per hour out wide. So these are kick or slice serves into corners. It's literally unplayable. So this is something that obviously Djokovic is going to have to contend with, but he is arguably the best returner ever. Right, I think we can safely say that there's an argument to be made that he's probably one of the best returners ever. Berrettini. Now, I think this is just crazy I'm coming. Berrettini, his forehand as well is incredible, like genuinely incredible when it's firing. It's a hammer blow. It's something that is so big. And I just think for him, he has to though have time on it. He has to have time on it. And Felix, for example, would go into out on the forehand side to Berrettini's backhand. And Berrettini's backhand at times would break down. The backhand is a weakness. It's a weakness. It is. Now, he has been slicing better, yes, on the backhand side. But the topspin backhand is not good. Now, he can probably get away with it at times in rallies against Djokovic because the backhand slice, as we saw today, for example, with Barty, can be so effective if it's low over the net, if it's deep in the court, right? But you have to be really committing to that backhand slice and making Djokovic move. If Berrettini does that, it can mask the weakness that is that topspin backhand. It can. But the Djokovic backhand to Berrettini's backhand is going to be interesting because Djokovic gets such good depth on the backhand cross court that for Berrettini to slice it is going to be very interesting to see if he can do that and get the depth on his own slice. So that's a matchup in my head that I think is going to be quite crucial. The obvious matchups, of course, is serve return. Berrettini serve to Djokovic's return. Can Djokovic break him? Similarly, Djokovic, let's put some respect on the serve. The serve is a weapon now, and Berrettini hasn't been the best returner. He did return better, I thought, overall against Felix, but he's not an incredible returner. So he's going to have to really step up here and try and anticipate where Djokovic is going to go, probably by the ball toss and also patterns of play. And he's going to have to be proactive in points. You do not want to be going more than 5, 6 shots, 7 shots maximum in a rally with Novak Djokovic. You want to be keeping them short. Utilize that drop shot he utilized against Felix. Yes, Djokovic is incredibly fit, but sometimes when he's so far back and you've got him on the ropes, utilize it. Similarly, utilize that big forehand approach at an angle to come into the net or to the backhand side. Now, I know, again, you might be thinking, well, Djokovic, he can stretch across, he can go do the splits, he can then pass Berrettini. Yes, I know that. But Berrettini cannot sit at the back. That's even worse. So he needs to take some risks here. He has to. He just has to. The 7 volley I'd like to see, but let's see. I don't think he's super comfortable doing that, and that's fine. And maybe the 1+ shot for him is the forehand from the back of the court, but he's got to make it count then. He's got to make it count. He needs to be proactive in the rallies, and he cannot start from neutral positions on his service game. Similarly, in the return game, the second serve of Djokovic, he has to cash in. He just has to. He has to. For Djokovic, it's just, I'm going to be honest with you. If Djokovic plays at 8 out of 10, he'll win, hands down. 3 or 4 sets, I don't know, but he'll win. He'll win. So let's see. But for me, it's a case of how competitive can Berrettini be against Djokovic. Let's hope for a competitive match. Djokovic, I don't need to talk about him too much because all of us know how good he is. All of us know. He's Mr. Elastic. He's developed an incredible drop shot now as well. The backhand down the line, incredible. The backhand, the depth on the ground strokes. The forehand now, he can dictate in points. The serve has become a weapon. All of you guys know this. I don't need you to tell. He's a huge favorite going into this. But what I'm trying to say is that Berrettini, if he utilizes and executes the game plan that I think he should execute, I think he will have some success. How much success? Let's see. But I think some of that does depend on the Djokovic that turns up on the day. It's going to be exciting, though. I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, the Euros will be later in the day. Italy versus England as well. Can Italy do the double is the question. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for your support as well through Wimbledon and also in other tournaments as well. Of course, for those who don't know, I do also cover cricket and boxing as well. So do check out that content if you're interested in it. And also, please do remember to smash the like button for this video. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help the channel to grow. We have hit our 1K goal. We're looking to now hit our 2K goal. So please help us on our road to that. Thank you very much, guys. And I'll see you on the next video. And keep an eye out, of course, for the stream that we'll be doing for the final between Djokovic